The Globe and Mail online publication says it has obtained eyewitness reports of massacres by Somali troops embedded with Eritrean forces in Tigray during the early months of the war in Ethiopia. The new evidence raises disturbing questions about a covert military alliance between Ethiopia, Eritrea and Somalia that has inflicted death and destruction on the region of Tigray in the north of Ethiopia. I've been speaking to the former Somali Intelligence Chief, Abdisalam Guled, who is now a security expert on the Horn of Africa. So what is Somalia's interest in the war in northern Ethiopia?
I don't believe Somalia has any direct or indirect interest in the war in Tigray, except they should have take a place or role to mediate or to become a neutral point if they can assess the problem. They should not contribute the problem as it stands.
So right now they have contributed to the problem because there are eyewitness reports of massacres by Somali troops that are being reported by the Globe and Mail online. And people have been saying this for months and months now, that Somali soldiers are in Tigray. Why are they there?
I was the first person who alerted this in January last year. And I was getting a report from Eritrean and Ethiopian officials who were in the front line informing the Somalis' involvement in the Tigray war. But the Somali government denied it again and again. And it was this 10,000 Somalis were unknown to anyone, and they are not missing from anyone. We have tried to talk to Somali military, Somali police, intelligence, government, and all those counts says they are not missing anyone. But it comes to the clear after the pressure and pressure, family demonstrated, yes, there are a number of Somali troops missing, and they were all illegally deployed to Eritrea in the name of training. But we understand later there was something called tripartite agreement between the three countries, Eritrea, Somalia, and Ethiopia. And they were trying to have a standby force, equal number from each country, 30,000, the report says. And this could be the reason why they've been deployed to Eritrea unknowingly and secretly, without any proper documentation as well.
So essentially the Somali government has sent its people into Tigray, into Ethiopia. The Eritreans are there as well, and they're fighting the TPLF.
Yes, they're fighting alongside the Eritreans. The Somalis are wearing the Eritrean uniform, commanded by the Eritreans. So this is something we knew, but we never had any evidence because the area was completely sealed off, communication sealed off, and there is no any form of communication that you can have. But now we have seen that this newspaper reporting witness accounts of how Somalis being conducted in that part. And these soldiers, they were smuggled without documenting, without knowing them. Most of them, I spoke to the parents. I spoke to more than 500 Somali parents who haven't heard from their children. Some of them, they've been misled by taking to Qatar to guard the World Cup, as they've been told, or to take into Turkey as a member of the Somali military training course. So this is a secret, and this is absolutely betrayal and unacceptable for the Somali government to contribute the violence in the Tigray region. And I don't know how it happened.
So essentially the Somali government, according to what you are saying, lied to the people of Somalia about where their children were going. They were saying that they were going to Qatar to be part of the World Cup and they were going to go for training. But in effect, they were going to go and fight a war where they may have been killed as well.
They were killed. And I've been told by the Eritreans, by the Ethiopians, they were killed. Some parents, they told me that children managed to speak to them and they informed them of friends and family who've been taken with them along, being killed in a war in Tigray. The great number of Somali soldiers who were smuggled to Eritrea without any proper documentation, yes, they were killed.
So these are not normal soldiers. They were not on anybody's books. Were these people that were just conscripted under false pretenses? You know, boys on the streets.
They were not boys on the streets. Mainly, they came across to Somalia, Somaliland, other part of Somalia, in the name of taking to Qatar, because Qatar, they took around 1,000 Somali soldiers, which they said they will be part of the Qatar security to protect the World Cup. And that name they recruited. Some of them being told that they were taken to Turkey. And these soldiers, most of them are university graduates and high school graduates. Though there are some people who've been snatched from the streets. I spoke to a survivor who reached Somalia and said, I was working in a restaurant and I was told that I will be working in the security restaurant. New job, better payment. But as soon as I show up with my uniform, I've been kidnapped. And 3 days later, airlifted from airport to Mogadishu midnight and landed in Eritrea.
And so were they promised payment?
They were promised a better payment when they arrived in Qatar. So they all knew they were going to Qatar. When they land in Eritrea, they find out themselves they were in Eritrea. But before they landed, they didn't know where they are.
And were they paid?
They haven't paid. They haven't allowed to talk to their parents. Their parents are still trying and crying. Some parents are really spend the days and nights outside the state house, but no one listened to them. And this is terrible. Even the oppositionists are not taking this further, let alone the government. We're talking about 10,000, though the government recognized and accepted there were 5,000. So we're talking about a great number of human lives. And these guys, they were forced to do whatever they do. That's what I believe, because they were forced to smuggle to Eritrea. And now they're commanded by the Eritreans wearing the Eritrean uniform. I have no doubt whatever they committed under the order of the Eritrean government.
Abdisalam Guled, former Somali Intelligence Chief, now a security expert.